Hello and welcome to TV. And we have a guest here with me, specialists, the Higher Education Projects Office, the ICT AAU. Join me to welcome Mr. He will be sharing with us today his experience on the higher education institutions. We will quickly take a break and nego Coalition of African Universities will give of that are.
Well, the last time we specifically discussed that it was a platform set up for the African higher education needs from within, so that the African continent begins to research done here is relevant to our problems, and also the local people around the area of research are also able to have a. Then we also saw the fact that there are inherent advantages so people can access them in real time, irrespective of the fact that the library might have closed. Come with accessing information over with the IRs or the data project from all the various institutional repositories set up by the various universities on a single platform for the whole world to see on data R projects.
Okay, and if I may chip in, I think, okay, please can you elaborate to know the meaning before we go ahead?
Simply put, just online platform institution for that matter. It's not just publishing, it's referred to be any other thing that because it's online, keep it within your institution.
Who are the people that have access?
Institution that sets up the platform. There are institutions that would want to set up the platform, people within the intranet of the institution.
That's right.
In our case, it will be the lecturers and the students. We just can make it open so that them some components or some world then able to access it.
So,
yeah, there should be policies, as in every endeavor. Policies will be dependent on the institution or the purpose set up.
But are they specific? What type of policies are they?
That will be policies that will govern. I'll call them governance policies.
Okay. Thank you very much. This is institutional reposition institutions. That is where gathered in a platform called institutional. Mr. Abednego Quality are softwares that are being used to set up.
There are quite a number of softwares available. We can mention softwares like talked about ePrint. We can talk about DSpace. But for our purpose, that is for the AAU, we to run the platform. We are encouraging most of our that way also the use of DSpace.
Non-members in this.
Their own good. A lot of other software. We are also urging, like you said, the non-AAU. It will market them. It will let the other institutions or the academic in out, and probably
what's there?
Based on the let me say classification types. The repositories that will be determined by the government. We have the research types set it up. We also have institutional repositories, like in our case again, the lecture notes. We can theses and dissertations. We can a lot on how book chapters they can put on. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Follow us on AAU and AAU TV. Can you please sustainability?
Well, the down, but we clearly state how it is. There are no policies. If the Vice Chancellor, who initiated mention of it in their handing over notes, and there's no policy that says that the university must support, the project will just fold up. If you want to have the institutions formulate policy to talk about, for instance, what is the name of our, what are the focus, what
web school be linked
on the website, on that link, that is
access.
the governance for institution would all be able to support the project, because the more they do, if the Vice Chancellor who is for approved, so that
that's mean anything, because I'm not sure this institutional repository.
Yes, the AAU runs a lot of every year to train people in setting up the repository, and most of the trainings are in two set libraries so that they can set up and manage the IT component of the platform. And then we provide training on the platform itself. Manage, I mean, upload content they need to do on the platform so that people can access the content they are putting in there. 2 or 3 training sessions on that. The first one, Mozambique one, probably in June. Then there for just the Francophone.
For the Francophone. Okay.
And so people are urging where these are sessions for data.
Very fine. It is good to have you here, Mr. Abdu. We have been talking on the institutional repos guiding them. If you would like to, Association of African Universities or 67. We would like, so on Oluwabun.
Welcome to Grades Summit, Issues African Youth Summit, and you can also join the AAU underscore Gradesmen. Excited, played.
So, thank you for the Association of African Universities, and I'm in the position as a which occurred on the Africa we want and to be able to achieve comes more.
Okay.
I'm an assessor.
Okay.
And actually, the African Youth Summit we came up with in collaboration with Idea Factor. So,
okay, that's great.
Students in every part of, and I happen to be, as Mr. Schneider said, we partnered to.
Okay.
Well, like he mentioned, I'm also Samuel Nyako in Japan, ST, and with the summit, I played a very key role in the section of the summit, which was for building tomorrow's.
All right. So once again, gentlemen, you're welcome. Here, I can also find the real people who engineered the, and so I have that really came out of the summit, Mr. Dontin, because you have made us this African Youth Summit. Why did you need a summit?
okay, strategically for growth, you know, we've already started ARIS, which basically, and so who's my friend, and we said, case, then let's pull a for the youth in Africa to address some of the categories that came out.
Sami?
Okay, so as I earlier said, factor is based on people, basically focus on the youth. We've been at various conferences and seminars, some minor training to take a summit. Yes, best.
Ben, into that groom.
This will be going to what actually transpired. Mr. Asif for the summit, charting the path. The
In 63.
Okay.
Africa was important. The people live.
Okay. Okay. Such a
in Africa, we country. Yeah. So the opportunity bringing people up in peace, and also is that
we do.
Yes.
Let's go into the venue. You had the Secretary General Etienne Inwanehile, who had the Ministry of Environment for Note at Leon. All he really said it is not the future from the start with you, Mr.
Is his speech he made the youth are the of the driving the agenda. Is that the geographical youth form the and so develop we need, so it's kind of
these are various parties. Is it government we all to parliament? I was going to share with each the deputy minister.
She touched on the passively, and that could be either trend or it could be a basis for advancing. So I think she made it important that whereby that institution will be pushing pushing the agenda of ensuring to take up society. So I think Secretary General made mention that the institutions are well placed to ensure to take up various roles in society that would advance the.
Great. So scouting through the participants who were at the because you could see that the African continent, she plays of her speech as well, Mr. Shah.
And things we need as the youth.
Okay.
And then what the government is also doing. You know, we have of the youth, the population. Okay. A chunk of it is the
almost
youth.
50% of
so to make sure we groom the youth to drive the whole development agenda. Inflation is high. That has led to unemployment. Touching on it, she mentioned that the government take care of the entrepreneurship project. Yeah. So that is what she made mention of. The government has done. And right now, the next thing that we're thinking about is, I feel like she bringing it up is enough for the youth to take a large number of youth present, and they've taken it up, and then are set up to also, groom our entrepreneurs that we have.
Right. Now, a center that is a Ghana Center for Innovation and way of bridging the gap between academia can really inform the decision of industry players. And so I think that is also very significant in specifically Ghana.
That one, you see, right now we've gotten to the. So right now we're charging the universities, the professors, to come up with innovative research. And then coming with that, and then turn the research into commercial. I'm sure setting up, as she brought it up, drive the commercializing in the right direction. Yes, because it's not just going to be staying on the shelves, but probably lead on the
joint universities. And this is AAU African Youth Summit, which was held on the 18th. For the summit was charting the course for the next generation. And in our first round, our panelist ceremony, and we are moving straight to that came up and what were the take home for the participant who Mr. Japan.
Yes.
One first.
Yes.
And the statistics are cultural heritage to memorable Africa beyond. Percentage of the participants in what was a take home for you? Africa beyond corruption. Were you?
I didn't have a stand before. I came to a conclusion that, and you have to take or boasted me. Made mention of the fact that we need clearly. So let's say embezzles funds. We shouldn't term it as corruption. We should term corruption as stealing, so that they know the magnitude of a sentence or a ruling commit. So let's say somebody takes one. What happens then? Is it that you just take back the money and then the person goes? And also, they also made mention of the fact that we shouldn't make. We should put measures in there that minimize the chance of somebody being corrupt. That our students home as something that they've learned from the summit. Yes.
Corruption, political one fact that, and if we can come back on that.
That I think all on the leaders make up and they reward hard work, do everything they are in equation, and that hard work, making sure that you and make sure that everything
he was smart,
very smart, but
well,
it was
exactly you call that a standard definition for corruption, and that was one thing that the panel, because we're trying to get a standard that came from the moral. In our case now, we will call.
Because the topic we were talking about values, heritage. We are things we do in the house. Our parents don't rebuke us. Go to school, then maybe you take a friend's toy, play with it. Where did you get it? Give it to me. They will hold your hand, give this toy to my ward or something. The person takes the person. Somebody gets a gap. The next moment, and the parents asked it
within 2 months.
Within 2 months, brother who is here, the person has worked for 10 years, and right now it has become part of the society.
So
we've corrupted.
Actually, opens the door for corruption.
Yeah, because I remember I have a very, I don't want to, an MP visited a church. It was a church fundraising, everything. Then they got to the 50 cities in.
Yes.
We have the microphone and said, look, that's that we are corrupt. Of people waiting for me. This is my monthly salary. If I put it together, the money, and look, and how two is at them, but defining our values. Some
of corruption. And whenever they are talking about it, they focus on place. But what we do not think of corruption is because of the human structures, and that's the main goal behind those structures. The main focus is where does our value start from. If the home is disintegrated, then obviously once we eradicate our educational system, all of these things are fostering power. They themselves start complaining. Back.
Interestingly, Peter is today's
Madams,
you know, so issues.
yes,
Corrupt.
Lights out.
Nobody wants to drive his way.
Everybody drive there and then you or the car. Of course, no. You have to. If we stop at the red, also follow up.
Yes, the person also stop.
Yes. So there is a friend of mine talked about. So corruption. I don't want to be corrupt. And my boss who money, and then after the whole thing, maybe even make it big. Sammy take 5 CDs. Wednesday, oh Sammy take what?
You
Boss
take
will not
100.
come. Roadside, yes. Today the system it needs, and gradually it is.
In the discussions. Okay. Now, one point out of that area had to do with giving out a good corruption. But I don't know how I feel so invested. The next thing which I have something for you. Finally into our internship.
Supposed to do nothing that you for do.
Okay.
Then
I decided was panel and I know that this is your show, so you are going to can develop a human capital vis-a-vis a growing population and vis-a-vis which is taking over how the market can lead us as young people, the growing business, education, technology, take homes.
Panel, as you mentioned, there was a very coming out from Mensa, who's from the and Mr.
Yes.
Now, that's how we need to promote. So you are in to adopt to your field was that you are studying, leading that system. See, and that's going on in the week that bills to work and change by 20 are expected for time that we learn how to use computer. Now, this was something that really helped because it helped us to see, which were in the audience, to see that it is not know what is happening around you.
Exactly.
And that is how come Africa has been able to leapfrog those that are already existing. We also talked about how to in Africa.
Okay.
Now, in order to help us do these technologies are coming up, technology. Yes,
technology,
exactly.
Okay.
But very stupid. They do not. That has to feed that information into it. And not when we see problems enough, find a solution to that problem. That's under the understanding product people who are also queuing up. Who he gave was in China. A gentleman who knew how to speak English and Chinese. So he built a website for someone to learn to take one of his lessons. When it's 0.6 million, that's not because exactly. So they are creating in the youth because talk about the bamboo bikes, the young generation. We mentioned earlier that they see mentors so that they can assess them and help them.
Let me come to you, Mr. Ankoma. Do you think our educational system has a role to play if we are supposed to take over the back in school? All that we know is wake up in the morning, walk to our lecture, find some movies to watch on your laptop, which you can use for other important things. You come back, write quizzes. You're not even so shy or pompous to go for internships.
Yes.
When you go for internships, you are looking for ones that will give you money. Go around finding where we can. What do you think? Has it got a role to play?
Okay, 2 things of competition.
Okay.
We have youth population
right.
that is on the rise, and so we have the advantage when it comes to population. Okay, and besides, not just the being the youth.
Yes,
that's one thing we have. We also have the natural resources. Everything is in Africa.
Good.
Okay, so we have these 2 things: our growing youth population, and then tapping into our natural resources. And so it's now up to us to target how to harness our natural resources. The training, everything that goes on into innovate our natural resources. Train students. We will be in our resources, and then it comes down to start making targeted at that. Make use of our natural resources.
In brief, to what must be done in making sure in the Africa we want by 2060.
We need to understand and
it has already come.
It has already come.
It now comes to technology. Now you can walk into a bank to send money or to deposit money. You can deposit your money. You understand? At first, You go there, you have to queue right on a cardboard. They'll put a stamp on it. You understand? And then we have the mobile money, which is one technology that it came from Kenya. It's very indigenous. It's our technology. Such thinking, such indigenous thinking. What can we do to improve? Understand? So we need to embrace this change in order for our economy.
Okay.
When it comes to education, like people in tech, yes, I complex. We are being our mind to be should be very in coming up bamboo bicycles that these are in Bugatti, let's make Ferrari. No, let us look at the simple things that we have. Making fufu machine. There's already a market. Yes, it's true. The message is simple. Let's embrace change and let's
in our quest to follow technology. You know, I see as we wholly adore someone is offering some money we on our economy or on the people that we have. I love technology as well. Are losing that could other white people.
So and the issue, yes, and to merge together, you get it. Plus, to guard themselves from. I think from what your question you asked, the main focus, our culture, and our technology, our values. Because I would say that I'm a student, I'm a institution, but the bit of my into the context of our opinions.
Exactly.
That's
the point.
Do they fit into the context?
Yeah. Students have what? How can I use that craving for us? But I ask myself, good pictures. What do you think we are?
It's our own net.
Right. Staying in the studio just after summit that was held here factor, and April 2018 here just joined us. This is AAU TV, and we are live on AAU Talks. You can follow us on our Facebook page. That is Association of Twitter feed by following AAU, and that's my wonderful panelists. We've seen that that's what it was intended to do. But another where, do you know, actually when I saw the CEO for, I was amazed. When I saw Miss Emmeline from EIB Network. Now we looked at how, in terms of business startup strategies, business start people are in school, when they set up businesses, business idea. Japan, you were the first blow where the take homes that the
aspect that came out development from the current entrepreneurship that we ask into development fees on a tabletop. Better to talk of development. You understand? So if we shift the very, very small entrepreneurship that we have in Ghana, then develop it from there. If we add technology into
let me take you on the spot, Mr. Japan. How can I office?
Just toffees that you are selling. These are in bulk. So if you are selling nuts, you can measurement,
and everything.
MLN, maybe labor job for you. First moment you are paying.
Exactly.
They've embraced technology. You need to look at technology. Like Mr. said of our lives, we need to bring how we can leverage our customers to make money. Facebook has made it a level ground.
Business. There's a lot that we are not doing.
I really do, because more often than not, people tend to shy away of men in the world. Actually, can't be people who can ask you the programmer product, and because of that, he's rich.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And it's any code, but he's right now. You need to know your problem.
Yeah.
Go to the same toffee example that was my system that says that okay, if I bulk, it is a good business for you. Yeah. You are just on the place that, and that earns you more money. Yeah. So we should globally think how we can be as try to be in a good shape. Everything is comfortable.
You know, it's also plays a Africa problem. You share your ideas, business ideas that you're sitting on them, looking for a job.
Somebody who was the problem of property right. So in going forward, maybe.
And I think
there is this part to it, and I conceived it, and then Same came up with the statistics that if you go to the developed world, right? And then if you come to Africa, we have
Facebook CEOs.
Facebook CEOs. We have a lot of that. We need entrepreneurs in Africa. What is the problem?
What kind of entrepreneurs do
and
you
so we distinguish between entrepreneurship and then buying and selling. And selling.
Exactly. One everybody know is my stance. The one he tell people, and I was here because we don't understood something and take us to do and then make a raise message that he.
It's quite well. Identifying a problem and then find. He's one with people
Very
nice entrepreneurship.
Let's look at the last. If you go to the banks and they tell amount, bring 8,000. Judicious part of the idea, even not one.
Every child management grant and scholarship proposal. I but a lot of money that person to teach you English.
Can you make
the flyer or the status and only give us 10 cities?
And how much?
Everyone get for business ideas. We believe that nothing is too.
Okay. Even what happened?
Yes.
Or be in all we've said, technology innovation. About with your, you need to be not support key or be not only in it.
And we've been very interesting. How can we institution and ask to go as generation that look we need ours because what
and then you don't have the skill
from another
my head and then
tell us anything that you do at schooling. What skill do you have? Good. Oh, okay, yes. Okay, let me go to you, Sammy.
Basketball.
Okay. Everybody
after essay, so you wait.
See, that's why how do we encourage our young generation developing our skills? Anything.
It's true. It's because there is it's when they are very
sure.
But we tend to push them away in a direction that we want. It opens his toys and make sure it works. Of these things, and you end up pushing him to become. He's able to become very good with that. Them we will keep on importing on cities. Like you see vehicles, Mr. Kantanka imports most of them. Why does he to do that? But we in our student our wards, make sure you are always happy. You always be able to.
Let's go back to when we're growing. We're using bamboos to do. We were just using Milo and things activity. But at long they applied for a last message to the parents, and this is
okay.
Samuel, I'll start from.
Okay. I think choose says that if I have the freedom to choose, even part of the decision making when it comes to me entering and have a change in our system, it's about going into allowing and nothing. Talking about
who doesn't
the school fees,
and they're telling you what to do.
I think these things will change, and we'll see a positive change across the country.
Okay, so deal agreement came up.
The military base.
It was you are trying to oppress us in every aspect of our system. We are oppressed. As to how we even think as Ghanaians, oppressed. I think we should rather be fighting for those things. So we are as Africa. I think we will always be oppressed. Take a choice for their own selves, and then
very
Chrissy, I think short. We are not informed during the panel discussion. People who went through the former educational system, the additional one, 10 people, they go 10 people who went through TVET. 8 of them. And so the information needs to get, if my ward should go through TVET, they will towards the development of Africa. Then they will push them. First, because of unemployment, I'm nursing. And right now, the for TVET. Okay. If people are informed, I'm sure that people will go in there and then the problem will be solved.
All right, your final words, Mr.
Problems in Africa. Find one individually. You can try and do as much as you can. There are opportunities for you to get online rather than using your social media bundle, your bundle. Find opportunities that you can use. And if we solve our own problems as Africa.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for the good job done in the past 2 recap hardwares may have been out of it.
Yeah.
Thank you for being the AAU talk, the recap of the was held on the 18th and 19th. It is me, gentlemen, in the studios. We will come your way, AAU talks. If you missed the African Youth Summit on our Facebook page, just log on to topics, all the panel discussions that went on during the African Youth, free resource that you have, and none like you on this continent, on the entire globe. Thank you so much, and thank you.
AAU Talks. This is a test transmission on content that is relevant for African higher host for today's program. With me in the studio, ICT Services, today information
Sam.
to meet us today.
Here.
Wow,
Yeah.
information.
Yeah.
What is data?
It's figures into a particular question interchangeably, but
Information.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can make sense out of information.
But you, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You might not make sense out of data in its raw form.
Wow.
Yes.
So you need to go through some bit of analysis
Yeah.
before you can make sense out of data.
Certainly. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what is the problem?
Education is that we can't make data-driven talk about the impact of African higher education, but some of the indicators. When we are asked what is the enough data, we are not analyzing, etc.
Data-driven decision. What do we mean?
To be able to say in the next 10 years,
Yes.
universities, to be able to sustain to say we need so much money because it's students who have no access to higher education. People to respond to the challenge and advocate for changes based on data, whether it's a strategy, data and information.
All right.
Yeah.
So for our viewers to understand,
data is important because by what we are doing using data. We need cities using data. We need to profile cities using data based on no facts.
So looking at the relevance, why is it that our universities, or what are the main Welcome to AAU Talks, AAU TV. AAU TV. My name is Samuel Nyako Japan, and I'm your host for today's program. Director of ICT Services and Knowledge Management at the AAU Secretariat of Data and Information in our universities. Welcome, Ms. Nodu, your busy schedule to meet us today.
Thank you for the invitation. I'm happy.
Data and information. What is data?
Data means facts to respond to a particular question. Sometimes slight difference between data and information. Yeah. You can make sense out of information.
But you okay.
You might not make sense out of data in its raw form.
Wow.
Yes.
So you need to go through some bit of analysis before you can make sense out of data.
Certainly.
Sure.
The problem in African driven decisions, we cannot education holistically because there's no data. We are collecting enough data. We are not analyzing.
You mentioned data-driven decision. What do
we need to be able to say in the next 10 years, in universities, to be able to sustain the education system.
Yes.
We need to be able to, because it's based on data, have no access to higher education. Respond to the challenges of advocate for changes based on data. Whether it's policy change, whether development, it must be here.
For us to understand, can you briefly tell us the core relevance of data?
It's important because we need to justify what we need to tell our story as universities using some of our achievement data.
Wow.
We must no facts, no statistics.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. What are the core challenges? Why is it that our universities are not getting this?
The first challenge is related to the management information to do their day-to-day business. This management government needs in terms of data. They are not regional level. They can't respond to some of the data African Union Commission. It seems there's the collection tools expected at a national level. So they keep being the other challenge is really these information systems, so doing it to do that.
Viewers, and we are who is the director knowledge management here at the AAU, and we've mentioned the importance of when it comes to data management in our various universities. Can you just give us some of the examples of data requests that as time goes on?
State universities are there in Africa. Can we have the break universities? And they want this. A stakeholder asked us, what's the relationship between of a country? So economics and education. How many physics professors, for example, asked us, what is the best computer 5 schools where I can go and study computer? Okay, if you got data on the capacity reference to innovations, they ask at higher education. So those are challenged as the association to be able
challenge to ask some of the continental initiatives that the AU body issue.
For example, has set up a center in statistics in Africa.
Yes.
There's a committee, the national statistics annually, to progress the African Union Commission Norms and Standards project that was initiated in Africa and the African Union Commission. What the norm developed guidelines for the development of education, sort of your MIS, design it like this so that you are level at a regional level and at a continental level, standard manner. So those norms and standards aim to do that. Development Bank by the World Bank.
Yes. To
strengthen African systems for collecting data bodies to tell us what is happening in our own.
Put you on the hot seat for a bit. Since AAU is the APA, what is AAU doing to solve this challenge?
Statistics unit, we want to be publishing an annual of higher education in Africa and evaluation at the AAU. We are working with partners project which is looking at faculty planning, and policy planning. We are also rating mechanisms which have complete concerning the quality of research. Then we validate what to publish the state universities.
Oh, okay. So what is it?
Implement and then are reviewing the status of faculty. We are attempting to answer a question, projections in terms of faculty 5 years in the next 10 years. So who are these faculty? How many are retiring maybe in the next 5 years? What will happen when they retire? Then for the government of Ghana and for the Vice Chancellor, policy document to plan and.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Impressive.
Yes.
That is a good project. I would like to see the final. So, looking at what you've done, we want to have let's say your final and also the challenges and.
I'm calling on African universities to pay more attention in terms of how they are designed. I'm also calling on them in their countries, also with the regional development plans of 2063 continental education strategy backwards to anticipate at government level and at a region. Calling on African universities, particularly vice chancellors, management information systems units or the units, so that they are able to do and responding to the higher level African higher.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, Sam.
And thank you for joining us at this. All right, viewers. So we've come to understand the need for data for African higher education. Come together to provide us with the data that we need in order to make it. Thank you for watching AAU TV. Bye-bye.